Hey, welcome to Rock 500. Super excited about this training because I've been wanting to launch this training for a while. Didn't know there was going to be a response. But like I said, over 100 people were interested in this webinar. A lot of you are getting the replays. So I'm expecting conversations to happen after the replay. So if you are watching this replay, please don't hesitate. Send me a message, send me an email if you have more questions. Because business, finances, marketing, all of this, it takes a lot for it to sink into. And every instructor is individual. So I do want to make sure that I help you out and I answer all of your questions. So today we're going to talk about how to earn $500 without teaching more fitness classes. My name is Jessica. I am the creator and director over at The Stage. And today we're doing Zoom. We're not at The Stage, which feels kind of weird. But I'm very excited about this training. So who is this training for? If you rent space to teach virtual classes, and I might have to take breaks as I start letting people in. View. Yes, submit all of them. If you rent space to teach or do virtual classes, if you own a studio, if you teach at a gym, but you're kind of curious what it would be like to branch out, if you're not making enough to pay the bills, if you're doing okay, but you'd love to do more, if you are ready to take it to the next level, if you are too busy to add more classes to your busy schedule, but you do need to pay the bills, if you get overwhelmed by trying to figure things out on your own, if you're not very techie, that's okay. And if word of mouth is something that maybe used to work before, not so much, then we're stuck in how to make more money. Early morning, so I'm in bed, dark room, that's why you're not showing your face. That's okay. Okay. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Jessica, and I'm actually an accidental Facebook and business coach. I didn't set out to be a Facebook coach. I'm actually an introvert, and I wasn't very good at people. So I would love to tell you the story of how I became a Facebook or business coach, because I want to show you that there really isn't anything special about me. I'm very normal. I'm just a group fitness instructor, just like you. However, I was able to figure it out, and I was able to make it work. And if I can make it work and I was totally normal, so can you. So I started dancing like 30 years ago, which I can't believe I say that. But I come from the dancing world, mainly from ballet, jazz, hip hop, like all the classical things. I loved being on stage. That's where I felt most alive. And I was also always chasing the spotlight on stage. Now, in addition to that, I do have a bachelor's degree in dance because I love it so much that I wanted to pursue it as a career. And I also have a bachelor's in business, just for fun, just in case. But I do love both of those things. So I couldn't decide when I was in college. So I just went ahead and did both, because why not? After college, I started working for a nonprofit. And what we did is we would go to those districts, and we would teach fourth graders how to dance through music. How to dance, music and dance. I'm trying to find the chat. Please mute. Yes, I can't be looking at the chat because it's different buttons for me. So if you have something that you want to say, please unmute and then just ask the question. That doesn't bother me at all. What I can't do is be looking at the chat. But yes, if you're not going to say anything, please mute. So I was working for a nonprofit. We would go into the independent school districts, and we would teach fourth graders about dance. This was with live music. So it'd be the instructor and a live musician, and we would go to all these schools. Super exciting, satisfying work. When I got into Zumba, which was the very first format that I taught, and they were telling us about cueing, I was like, oh, I've done this before. So all of my cueing skills, I actually did not learn from Zumba. I learned from working at this nonprofit. Because at the end of the year, we would put a whole bunch of kids together, like 300 kids together, and we would make them perform on stage. So you have to have really good leadership skills if you're going to manage 300 children on stage. And not only the stage part, but the audience part. So we would be performing this to 2,000 children from those school districts as well. So the children that didn't get to be on stage still got to go to a stage. So that was very exciting work. It's been one of my favorite jobs. But that all happened in El Paso. And then we moved to Dallas. And for those of you who don't know my family, this is my gorgeous husband, which I keep having children with him. These are my 3 children, and they're all crazy. We have a cat. It's crazy town here in my home. And when we moved to Dallas, I didn't have any family in town. I didn't have a job in town. I was pregnant and with a baby, so I really built my family in Dallas. And I didn't know, like, I thought that was the end of my dancing years, quite frankly. But that's when I discovered group fitness, Zumba being the very first format that introduced me to the wonderful world of group fitness. So I was like, what? I can keep on dancing? Oh my gosh. So I got super excited. I didn't know about this world. I lived in theaters and studios, not in a gym. So I still think it's bizarre to go to a gym and dance, but I'm very grateful for it because I get to keep on moving. I now also can teach aqua and cycle. So I've been dancing for 30 years. I've been teaching it for 20. It's my passion. It's my love. It's something that I love to do. And as happy as this makes me feel, and my husband fully supported me going out and launching into group fitness. He saw that I was happy. I was losing the baby weight. I was in much better mood. However, reality does hit us. And he would constantly ask me, okay, it's great that you're having fun, but when are you getting a real job? Because it's now a family of 5 and he's the sole income earner. So he was feeling the heat, he was feeling pressure. And quite frankly, I could go get a desk job, right? I could go back to an office and just teach. I'm an accountant. I could go get a real job, but I fell in love with group fitness. So I didn't want to. So we made a deal. And the deal was that when baby number 3 was old enough to go to school, so all 3 kids would be in school full time, then that would be the time that I would get a part-time job to help support the family. Or I would figure out this fitness thing to where it supplanted a part-time income. So before, when I was teaching classes, that's why I say I didn't care about growing classes or making money. Before, I was just like, yeah, back to dancing. But after that conversation, I started to care, right? Now I'm paying attention. And when I was paying attention, I discovered that I actually didn't know how to build a class. I didn't know how to make more money. My idea of making more money was teaching more classes, which I did, right? Or getting a pay raise, which I did. But even doing that wasn't cutting it. Right. And being a mom with kids and driving to all of these, I was teaching at four or five locations with my babies. They were babies, right? So I'm driving everywhere with them. I'm disrupting their schedule in the morning. I'm disrupting my husband's schedule in the evening. Like, it was chaotic. So after trying as hard as I could to make money with group fitness, I came to the sad conclusion that there is no money in group fitness. And if I wanted to not get a job, a real job, I would have to do something else. So I started selling something else. I'm like, people sell stuff all the time, right? So I enrolled in a network marketing company. So if any of you are doing Mary Kay or Avon or Herbalife or any of these shakes or leggings or whatever, like, I see you. I know what that's like. So for me, I decided to go with skincare. And I was like, that'll fit perfect because I, work with people, with humans. Humans have skin, so it'll be easy to sell. And they did train us on how to sell the products. And I did everything that they told me to do. They told me to go and give out samples. I did that. They told me to get in 3-way calls. I did that. They told me to invite people to my home and do parties. Oh, for an introvert, that was incredibly uncomfortable, but I did it because I really wanted to help my family. I wanted to support my family, and I didn't want to lose my classes. So if that meant that I had to get uncomfortable and sell stuff, I would. So I did all the things and they failed. I got no sales. Like, it was just about the same as the fitness classes or even worse. So I was like, okay. And then somebody said, Facebook. And I was like, brilliant. Right. And how many of us were like, we're going to post our promos on Facebook and people are going to see our class schedule and they're going to run to our classes. Right. Yeah, I fell into that trap too. I was like, yes, I'm going to post my promos, my skin, everybody, 2.9 billion users in Facebook. Surely 100 people will buy from me, or 10 or 1. And it didn't know, like, so I did all the things, the same thing. And they did train us on how to do stuff online. And they told us, post on your profile. So I posted on my profile, post on groups. So I posted on groups, post in the marketplace. So I posted in the marketplace, and everything that they told me to do, I did. And do you see that little, that Adela Urias? I posted my promos, and this had 2 likes. One of those likes is my mom. So no, this was not this was not working out either. So I was like, okay, so no money teaching classes, no money selling products offline, no money selling products online. But I really wanted to figure out this online thing, because with the 3 kids, I had done, the teaching at several locations. I had done the samples and parties at home. And out of all the things that did fail, through all those failures, I figured that the online failures were the least painful, because that didn't involve me driving. So it's like, okay, no sale, but I mean, it was a post or a message or whatever. So it's like, no, I want to get more into this online thing. Not only that, but I saw that other people were making sales. So I knew it was possible. I just hadn't figured it out for me, right? I know it worked. It just didn't work out for me. So I got obsessed because I wanted to make this work. I wanted to make this happen, and I wanted to make it happen through my phone. So I started taking all the webinars, just like this one. I went to all the webinars. I went to all the free challenges, right? My Pack Your Class challenge is my signature challenge, right? I went to all of the challenges. I started paying for some workshops. I started paying for some online courses. I started paying for some coaches. I started to really dive into it, because the other option was to just let go of everything and go back to the office. I really did not want to do that. So I was like, I'm going to do whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. I got that song in my head. Whatever it takes. And the great news is that this time around, it worked. It totally worked. My mouse is now, there we go. So with Facebook, I was able to grow my classes from 5 to 55, which is kind of like an unintended purpose. I was trying to sell skincare, but when I use the same strategies to sell the skincare, but now for my classes, that's when everything exploded for me. So my classes went from 5 to 55, and not just one class, like all of the classes were packed. My name was out there. I was building a name from scratch. I was new in town. Nobody knew me. But after using Facebook in the right way, people knew me in a very weird way. And the only way I know this was because I invited my sister-in-law to a masterclass. So at the time, I had been doing a lot of Facebook Lives. I used to do them daily. Now I only do them once a week at the stage. But back in the day, I used to do these daily on my profile. And but when you're doing lives or you're teaching virtual classes, you're kind of looking at a little dot. That's why I'm so excited about Zoom today, right? You don't really know if this is landing with people or if this is like making a difference to anyone. So I invited my sister-in-law to this masterclass. It was open to the public. It was Zumba. I was really excited to take her out. And as we walk in, we're participants. Everyone started taking selfies with me. And they're like, and they started taking selfies with me. And my sister-in-law is like, what's going on? Are you famous? And I'm like, no, I'm not. This is totally bizarre. Like, I don't know what's going on. But that was the power of spilling over to my everyday life, and people identified with me. They knew who I was. So it was really putting me in the map. And I was building my audience from scratch. I was new in town, new to Facebook, new to everything. But more than that, I was helping instructors keep going. And that's the part that really got me to continue doing this work on Facebook, because as I was talking to these instructors, once I met them at the master classes or jams or at the convention, and they would tell me that they were ready to quit being an instructor, and they would teach their classes and they would go to the car and just cry. And they would cry because nobody was coming to class, and they would cry because they invested a whole year trying to be an instructor, and they finally get a class coming, and they were just heartbroken. And
I'll tell you all about it after my webinar.
All those stories. But they said that they saw one of my videos, and in one of my videos, I would tell them a tip. Try this in class, or try that in class. And they were like, okay, I haven't tried this. So they would go back to class and try it. and something would work, right? And it's like, oh, okay, they see some improvement, hashtag small win. That's where the whole small win thing comes from. And then they would see another one of my videos and I would give them another tip and they try that. And they started trying these different techniques and tactics. And ultimately, by the time that they actually met me in person, they're like, my classes are flourishing. I was this close to quitting and I didn't. And now my classes are growing and it's all because of you. And I was just like, oh, like I cried so much that year listening to all these stories because I didn't know that was happening behind the scenes. So that's when I discovered that Facebook was amazing. And that was just the outside part of Facebook. But we're not here to talk about Facebook. We're here to talk about business. And on the business side, it was even more amazing. So like I said, I was trying to get more income to support my family. The first way that I thought to do that was to get hired at a more posh location. And through my Facebook, they were looking at my Facebook, and through all of that, they did decide to hire me and they gave me a pay raise. So I was like, yes, okay, that worked. But then when I started developing the techniques that you're going to learn in today's training, which is why I'm so excited, I was earning in 3 months what took me 12 months with classes by doing this thing that we're going to learn today. That's how big of a difference it made. And I was like, holy cow. Now, me and my husband, when we were talking and we made this plan and all things, all of it was around how are we going to pay for college? 3 kids, 1 income. Like it's the math doesn't, this is not good math. So it was always college. What are we going to do for college? And through doing what we're going to learn today, I was able to give my husband a $10,000 deposit for my kids' college fund. That's when I recorded this video because I was like, I never made 10,000 like on my own. Like, oh my gosh, no, this is not working for somebody. This is not at a gym. This is 100% me, which is what I'm going to teach you how to do. So I was beyond that. And ever since then, I have continued to earn. So my business is now at $50,000 and growing, and I just started. So the business side of this, the Facebook side is very rewarding, but the business side is even more because I get to help my family. And again, what's amazing is that there's nothing special about me. I don't have great well, at that time, I didn't have great marketing skills. I didn't have great business skills. I had to learn those. But the good news is they're all learnable. I also didn't have a huge following, right? It's like, oh, wow, she travels the world. No, I had 8 followers on Facebook. So I was able to make $10,000, 50 with starting out with 8 followers. And it was all by just using Facebook and email and Zoom. So as all of this was happening, one of my best friends, she was telling me, well, why don't you teach us Facebook? And I was like, that's a silly idea. Like, why would I teach you Facebook? And she's like, because you're rocking it. You're rocking your Facebook. I do Facebook and I'm not doing it's not doing what it's doing for you. So you're doing it differently. So why don't you teach us Facebook? And I was like, well, yeah, it was working for me, but I didn't know if I could teach this, right? So I was like, kind of like when you're in the class and you're the front row diva and you're like, yeah, I love Zumba. Do you want to be an instructor? It's a big difference, right? So when my friend said, just teach us Facebook, I'm like, let me think about it. But I went for it. So I did. And instructors have been having fantastic results. Right here is Emma. She's having her engagement is skyrocketing through the roof. Laura right here is doing reels. She has over 1.4 thousand views in her reels. And these are just tiny stories, but instructors are getting more friend requests, they're getting more scenes, they're getting more views, they're getting more engagement, getting more conversations and inquiries about their classes. Like they're just like rocking their Facebook. And not only that, but on the business side for them, right, they're growing their classes. So here's Edilcia. Edilcia is getting so many offers to teach. So those of you who want, this is not really the market. You guys are all already teaching, but if you want to get hired, Facebook employers don't actually look at your references anymore. They look at your socials. right? So super important that what you have out there is meaningful on your Facebook. Lots of my clients get notifications from Facebook like this one saying that their visibility has been increased for 2 days, 3 days, 100 days, right? So it's awesome. And all of that is helping them grow their classes and pack their classes. This is Lisa over in Australia, and she told me she doubled her classes. This was like months and months and months ago. She's then told me that she's doubled her classes again. So she figured out the formula, and now she just got better at it. Karen here, some of you know Karen Rhodes. She's big online. She was the friend that asked me to teach Facebook. So this wouldn't exist if it weren't for her. And she got big, and not because it was luck or she's, gorgeous. It's because she did the techniques. She learned the stuff and she practiced the stuff and she followed a plan, my plan. She was the one who told me to make a plan and then followed it. So all of this is not, it's not, all of these are learnable skills. All of these are learnable skills. And then similar to that, I had clients tell me, teach us how to make money. Because I had been teaching how to do Facebook for a while, and they knew that my business was growing. They could see it because I'm always very open with my businesses and all the things that I do. And they were just like, teach us how you're doing it. Like, you have a group, you have a thing, like, just teach us how you're making money. And I didn't get that from one client. I got that from several of my clients. So I was like, but same thing. It was working for me. I don't know if I could teach this, right? So I was like, let me think about it. So I thought about it, and I did started teaching instructors how to make money. And so an example of that is Shelly over here in the UK. She has 60 paying members. And this was way beyond her goal when she started working with me. She's like, I think her goal was like 30 or 40. And she's like, oh my God, I blew past my goal of how many clients I wanted that month. Kiki right here is an ex-jammer, and she was able to make over $2,000 in the first month that she was working with me. So yeah, I started helping instructors how to make money. And that's how I accidentally became a Facebook and business coach. I didn't set out to do this. I did it for myself. And then somebody asked me to teach them. And then I did. And then I started making money. And then somebody else asked me to teach them. And then I did. And all of a sudden, I now help group fitness instructors pack their classes and make more money using Facebook as a full-time job. So not something I intended to do, but it is something that I love to do because I was you. I was in your shoes where I couldn't grow my classes. I was in your shoes where I needed more money, and I was in your shoes where I couldn't figure it out. So it gives me enormous satisfaction to be able to pass this information, this knowledge, and to work closely with instructors to make it happen for them, because I want you to have more success than I do. So why making money matters? And I know this is a touchy subject for a lot of instructors. We don't like to talk about money. But we need to talk about money. And that's because some of us are teaching and doing fitness to pay some bills, right? If you're doing this part-time, maybe there's some bills that you would like to pay. Others, are studio owners, or you do this full-time and you need to pay all the bills. This is your livelihoods. It's not just about the hustle or the sushi money or paying a couple of bills. You're paying all the bills. When I started out and I started paying attention, I really wanted to be self-sufficient. I wasn't bringing any income to my family. So as a minimum, I wanted to not expend from my family. So I wanted my hobby, which hurt me to say it was a hobby at the time, because I was like, no, I'm a business, but you're not a business if you're not making money. So I wanted to make my hobby self-sufficient. Now, if you're teaching fitness for fun and you're taking this training, you're obviously welcome to take the training. If you're a little bit curious as to how it works to go bigger and to take it to the next level, we'll talk a lot about that. But really, if you are doing it just for fun, if you already have a full-time job and this is your fun thing, if your partner has a full-time job and they're the main breadwinner and this is your fun thing, or you're retired and this is your fun thing, right? Then you don't need to pay so much attention to these things, right? Because this is not the thing that is going to help you pay bills. However, you're always welcome to listen to these things and learn and grow, but you don't have to get so involved. But if you're a studio owner, if you want to pay some bills, or if you want to pay all the bills, or if you want to pay college tuition bills for your family, then yes, it's not just about teaching a class. That would be the prerequisite. right, to unemployment, that we need to be able to teach a class, and we need additional skills to make that happen. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Now, why is it hard to make money as a fitness instructor? I didn't know this. So when I was, putting together this webinar, I had to do some research, and I was fascinated by this. 62% of personal trainers and group fitness instructors are self-employed. However, 90% of small businesses fail. That one I did know. But 90% of small businesses fail. So it's not you. If you feel like you're like barely grabbing on, or like you're barely making it as an independent business, micro business owner, it's not you. Something is broken. Let me let Laura in. So let's figure out why most small businesses fail. And there's really just two reasons. Now, I need a sip of coffee, so give me a second. There's really two reasons why it's so hard to be in that top 10%. And that is that there's no cash, or there's no student, or both. Right? Now, the main reason that businesses get out of business is because there's no cash. The second reason that businesses get out of business is because there's no new clients. So the business, which brings it back to you're not making cash. So really, why businesses fail is because there's no cash, and there's no cash. So we definitely need to talk about cash. Most of the cash problems come from two sources: having an unhealthy business model, and having the inability to make projections based on that business model. And what happens with a business with cash, whether you have a studio or you're on your own renting or you're doing virtual classes, is that you're not making enough money to pay for your expenses, which means that you're running at a deficit month after month after month. You can only take that for so long. Eventually, that's going to lead to you feeling burnt out. So maybe your wallet can sustain you for 6 more months at a deficit, but honestly, you just can't do it anymore. Right? You're just like, I can't, like the motivation is not there, or you literally run out of money, right? Because you can't, it's too expensive to run this. You're not making anything out of it. And as much as you love doing what you do, smiles don't pay the bills, right? So we do need to have that balance of doing what we love, but also making money doing what we love. Otherwise, we are going to have to get a full-time job. Right? We're going to have to get a job. This is just a hobby, it's a great hobby to have. But if you're wanting it to produce income so that you can pay some bills or pay all the bills, then we need to produce cash. So today we're going to talk about 4 cash models so that you actually see how these cash models help you or don't help you create cash. So we're going to talk about working at a gym. We're going to talk about punch cards or class passes. We're going to talk about memberships, and we're going to talk about, I'm going to tell you about the 4th one. You need to stick around. So this is why not having cash is problematic for a business. Not having students for a business is problematic because students are the livelihood of cash, right? Students bring cash. So we don't have cash because we don't have students, and we don't have students because we have no marketing. We either, group fitness instructors either don't do any marketing, do bad marketing, or don't do enough marketing, right? And what happens is that we get really good at teaching our classes, but not so good at promoting it, which is kind of funny. If you're teaching at a gym, that might not, matter that much, because some gyms don't have quotas, which is great. I worked for one of those, so there's like no pressure. Other gyms do. I have worked for one of those. Those are a lot of pressure, right? But when you're being an instructor, when you think about being an instructor, you take trainings on your format. You take trainings on several formats, right? You learn the ins and outs, the guidelines of what to do, what not to do. You spend months practicing, trying to get hired. You get hired, you do your classes, you start stumbling, you get a mentor, you get a coach, you keep on practicing and all that jazz until you get better at it, right? It takes months. But when it comes to growing your classes and promoting your classes and marketing, we're just kind of winging it, or we pick it up as we go, or we just don't do anything at all. And then we wonder why we don't have any students, which means why we don't have any cash, which means our business is dying a slow death, right? So marketing is something important. I know that we love what we do, but again, if we want to go to the next level, not just teaching a class at a gym and getting paid $20 an hour, right? But if you want to take it to the next level and pay some bills, pay all the bills, and take this full time, become a professional, heck, hit $1,000, hit $10,000, then we need to address these issues. Because what ends up happening is that instructors eventually run out of students, eventually run out of cash, and they have to shut their doors, right? They quit. And as much as that pains me, and I've spoken to hundreds of instructors, they quit because they can't afford losing money, or their motivation just died with the business. But what's worse is that they believe that they failed because they're not good instructors. And that is not true. That is why I'm so passionate about helping instructors with your marketing and with your Facebook, and helping instructors make your money with your pricing and your packaging, because it's not about you. Okay. You're not the problem. I believe you are awesome. I believe your classes are awesome. I believe you don't need to change a thing from your classes. You don't need to change the playlist or add more formats or remove formats or use a mic or face the mirror or face the students or get new speakers. Like, I believe you don't need to change anything from your classes. Your classes already rock. The reason your business or your classes, the reason your business isn't working is because you're missing some skills. That's all. You are Wonder Woman. Right? You're undercover Wonder Woman. You are awesome, but you're stuck in traffic, right? And if you're stuck in traffic, you can't help anyone. If you're in a cave, people don't know that you exist, right? So you're kind of undercover. The skills that you're missing are the skills to get new students and the skills to make significant cash to stay in business. The good news is that skills are learnable. Just like becoming an instructor, right? Before you were a student, you're an instructor, you didn't have these skills of teaching a class or teaching several classes or teaching several formats. You had to acquire those skills, practice those skills, and then you became good at those skills. So these skills are no different. It's just paying attention to the right skills. So let's talk about the 3 secrets to making money as a instructor. Specifically how to make $500, right? Which is what we're here to talk about. So the first secret number 1 is to make cash to stay in the. If you don't have enough cash, then it's likely that your business will die a slow death, and you'll be one of those 90% statistics that fail within their first year. By the way, if you have been teaching for more than a year independently, or you own a studio for more than a year, or you've been doing virtuals for more than a year, pat yourself in the back. You're top 10%. You're top 10% right here. However, that just means that you didn't close your doors, but now we want to be a profitable business, right? So you survived, you made the first cut, but we want to keep on going. If you're in your first year of launching, first year of studio, ooh, this is the make it or break it year. So I want you to survive your first year. Now, to get cash, you need the skills of pricing and packaging, right? How do you package and price your classes correctly so that you get enough cash flow to pay your expenses and pay your bills? And again, this is a very learnable skill. So secret number 1 is going to be to have one premium product. By the way, is this making sense? Is this resonating with people? Yeah, Cassandra's like, yes, okay. I'm seeing Magda saying, okay, cool. Most fitness instructors only have one product, which is a class, right? And it doesn't matter whether you teach one format or several formats, right? If you're teaching a Zumba class and a yoga class and a HIIT class and an aqua class, your product is still one thing. It's a fitness class. That is your product. And what happens with this product is that it solves a small problem. Most classes solve the problem of like they need to burn calories and having a fun workout. People need mobility. Now we know that your classes impact your students at a way different level, right? We know that classes change lives and save lives and have all these wonderful things. But the way that most instructors market their classes is they say it's a fun class. So they're solving a small problem. Like, how can I exercise while having fun? Or how can I stretch? Or how can I burn more calories? Or how can I get out of the house? Small problems. Small problems are low ticket. So your one class solves a small problem, is valued at a small price, whether you teach at a gym and you're paying by the hour, or you rent a space, or you have studio and you're charging per class. It's a low ticket item, which means that to make a profit, you need high volume, right? Which is why we're so obsessed with growing our classes. Now, in order for you to have lots of volume to be able to sell 100 of this, small, $20 classes or $5 drop-ins or, $50 something, you need to be a whiz at marketing, right? You need to like rock your marketing, know what you're doing, do it well, do it repeatedly, and do it consistently, or be super social. Right? Some people are just naturally social, so they know a lot of people, their network is big, and they just naturally grow their classes because they're so incredibly social. I am not. I am not incredibly social. So for those of you who are not social, or who are shy, or who are introvert, or who are busy, right, then the whole marketing thing is not something that we're naturally good at, but it's something that is learnable. So when you have just one product, right, you need to have one product that is low ticket. You need to have lots of people. And to have so many people consuming that product, you need to be good at marketing. Also, if you're teaching classes that requires an hour of your day, literally there's only so many hours in the day. And I've spoken to hundreds of instructors. I know your schedule. Some of you are crazy. Some of you are teaching 20, 25 classes per week. That's insane, right? So even if you could teach more classes and pack the rooms and all of that, there's literally no more room in your schedule to teach more classes. And not only that, it takes a toll on your body. So the instructors who've been doing this for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, I've spoken with them too, right? And there's bad shoulders and bad hips and, second surgery for the knee and things like that. So while we love what we do, it's not sustainable, right? We're athletes. Athletes retire. Athletes retire because they had their moment to shine when their bodies could take this beating, which is usually when you're learning a new format. You need to learn the format, practice it, go teach it, right? And then once you're good at it, then we need to move on and go to the next level, right? We need to retire at some point after 25 years or 30 years. We need to find what's the next level of this, because it's going to be difficult to sustain it for your body. So let's talk about traditional ways of making money as a group fitness. Now, again, when I started group fitness, I wasn't really into, pack my classes or make more money. I was just happy to be teaching and dancing again. But once we had that conversation, my husband and I was paying attention, then it mattered, right? And once it mattered, I was teaching at a gym, so I did the whole gym route, which was, okay, I'm going to teach more classes at a gym. Check. Okay, I need a pay raise in my own gym. Well, that one didn't happen. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go to a different gym and get a pay raise there. I did, and I got a $15 per hour bump. Yay. But even doing all of that, it really wasn't enough to make a dent when it comes to like college tuition. Maybe I earned $100 extra that month. But it wasn't something like, ooh, wow, super, awesome thing. And as I've been speaking to hundreds and thousands of instructors, they also feel that they can do that, or they need to rent space. And a lot of them are afraid. I was afraid to rent space. If they do rent space, and the concept is that they need to just bring more people, right? That creates cash flow, which technically it does. Or they need to increase prices, which that creates cash flow, right? Or they need to do both, increase prices and bring more people in. But even when doing that, again, it doesn't, the instructors I've talked to, it doesn't make that much of a dent when it comes to their finances. Another option is to open your own studio. Lots of instructors, especially the ones who rent, have this idea that if they own their own studio, that's going to be the magic thing. That's going to solve all their problems. They have a whole studio. They can fill the whole hour problem, right? There's only so many hours in the day that I can teach, but if I hire instructors and give them a space, then I'm reproducing myself. But if you're a studio owner, you know that, expenses go up, overhead goes up, pressure goes up, everything goes up, and you still need to have the capacity to increase prices and bring people in. The other option is to go pro. And a lot of instructors I know do this, and Zumba, there's like the Rising Stars and Jammers and Zesses and all that. I was looking into this as well. For those of you who have been following me for a while, I had my heart set on being a ZES, Zumba Educational Specialist, because I love education. Auditioned for the thing, went through the whole shebang, did not pan out. And I've had several people ask me to be a Zumba jammer and to go for that one. But you know what? I've spoken to hundreds of instructors. A lot of them are pros. They're either jammers or zesses or master trainers. And they're in the same, when it comes financially, they're in the same shoes as you and me. They're not making enough money. They have a very rewarding job. They get to travel. It's a very fun thing to do, but they're not making like tons of money. A lot of them are still teaching at gyms. A lot of them still have a part-time or full-time job to supplement their pro career. So, you know, it was hard. So I couldn't figure it out for myself. I was talking to all these instructors to see if instructors had the answers that I was looking for, and all the options just didn't seem to pan out. So I decided to put pen to paper and just run the numbers. So that's what we're going to do right now together. To better illustrate the different business models, we're going to do reverse math. That means that we're going to start with the goal. So our goal is $500. This is the whole point of this webinar. And we're going to work ourselves back. And we're going to see what it takes for you to earn $500 with a gym, if working by a gym, with a gym, how to do it with punch cards or class passes, and how to do it with memberships, and then how to do it with the secret formula that changed my life. So I'll show you through all of those. And then if you stick till the end, I'll show you how it was that I was able to, use another business model, right? Business model number 4. And that was the thing that got me to my very first 10K, which was a big deal. And that's the thing that's getting my clients to the very first 1K. So forget $500. My clients want to reach 1K. By the way, Wonder Woman. If you see anything Wonder Woman on Facebook, please tag me. I love it. So let's start with the gym. Hello. There we go. Teaching at a gym is very straightforward. And unfortunately, there's like no way around it. If you want to earn more, and then you have to teach more. If you're not open to doing things on your own, then that's the only way to go. And so in order for you to make reverse math, right? In order for you to make $500, you would need to, in order for you to be making $500, let's say that you get paid $25 per class, which is what I was being paid on one of the gyms. Then you would need to be teaching 20 classes per month, which translates to 5 classes per week, which is doable. I call this workshop the ROCK500 because the most I was able to make was $500 teaching 5 classes a week. That was like my cab with my minivan and my kids and me running around and like doing everything in my power to teach as many classes as I could. My schedule only allowed for 5 classes, which means the top I could make was 500. That's why I called this webinar ROCK500. And however, let's say that you don't need to pay some bills. You need to pay all the bills. So you need to go full-time as a gym instructor. What does that look like? To go full-time, you need to be earning around $2,000 a month, at least, right? To make $2,000 a month at a $25 per class, you would need to be teaching 20 classes per week, which I've spoken to some of you instructors, and some of you are doing that. Now, keep in mind that 20 classes a week does not translate to 20 hours, right? 20 classes a week really translates to like 40 hours. So you're working a full-time job, right? 20 classes definitely counts as full-time because you're driving, you're practicing at home. There's a chit chat before class. There's a chit chat after class. There's a check in your numbers at the gym that you need to log in your thing. Some gyms have required meetings. Some gyms have required trainings. So all in all, in order for you to teach 20 classes, you're really putting in 40-hour weeks, which is a normal full-time job. And you're earning around $2,000. So that seems okay, except if you put things into perspective, you're earning a little bit more, $80 more than somebody working at McDonald's in Texas. If you work at a McDonald's, I'm in Texas, that's why I use Texas, but if you're an employee at McDonald's, you're earning around $12 per hour for 40 weeks. For 4 weeks, that's $80 under $2,000. So yes, you're working full time. Yes, you're earning $2,000. Yes, you're doing all the things, but it's just about the same as working at McDonald's. Okay. So just to give you a perspective of what this is like, right? Now, don't get me wrong. Gyms are awesome. I recommend that if you are just starting in group fitness, start teaching at a gym. It's going to be less pressure. You really get to hone your skills. It's great for beginners of any format. Start teaching at a gym. It's great for instructors who just do this for fun, right? Because you're paying your bills through something else, a part-time job or a full-time job, or your partner. And it's great for instructors who want to teach, but they don't want the pressure of owning their own business. And I know that when I started teaching and I started looking into Zumba, I've been dancing for 30 years, so I wasn't like afraid of it, but I had small kids. I didn't want to deal with renting a space, marketing. I remember marketing was a big thing because at that time I was not good at marketing. So that meant I had to learn marketing to be able to fill the space for my classes. And with 2 small kids and knowing nobody in town, I did not want to go into that train, right? So I decided I'd go into a gym and they would pay me whatever they would pay me, right? Because I wasn't paying attention to numbers. That was not my goal. So gyms are great. However, if what you're trying to do is get your bills paid, you could also just do McDonald's, right? Is it the most profitable business model? No. And today we're talking about money, and today we're talking about business. So we're going to look at other models that are more profitable, where you get more money for less time, so that you spend time with your family and doing other stuff. So the next one is punch cards or class passes. So again, I'm gonna use a model. I've heard several instructors use a version of this, but let's imagine that you have a $5 drop-in, a $15, let's say 1 week pass, or 3 classes, a $25 pass. So let's say that's like, I don't know, 5 classes, and then a $50 class pass, which is like 10 classes, get 1 free. So let's say that that's your combo of the different class passes. And you're like, yes, I have all these options. That way, if somebody wants to spend $5, they can. If they want to spend $50, they can. There's lots of options for them to say yes to any of my packages, right? So taking this model, you would need around 20 students to hit ROCK 500 that month. And that's with a combination of these things, right? A few students who are at the $5 drop-in, a few students are at the $15, a few students are at the 20, a few students are in their $50 range. Now, punch cards are going to be better than gyms because, first of all, you get to teach less, right? If you get good at marketing, then you can really pack a room. Then you can be making, same or more by teaching less classes. So let's say that for this model, for this example, we're going to use, you're teaching, 2 to 4 classes per week, get 20 people in the result, 20 of these different versions of punch cards, and you'll be rocking 500. So like, yay, okay. Now you're not teaching 5 classes a week, you're teaching 2 or 3 or 4. So that's better. However, let's say that this is your core crew, right? Your regulars, your diehard students. Let's say that 10 of your diehard students don't show up to class because they got sick, they're on vacation, it's too hot, it's too cold, anything that disrupted their schedule. It's a holiday, it's right before the holiday, it's the holidays right after the holiday. Whatever the reason is, your core, 10 of your core crew decided not to show up to your class during that day. Well, the problem is that every time that they miss class, they're going to delay, they don't get their card punch, so then they delay the purchase for the next card, which means that every time that they don't show up to class, you are losing money. So you're losing around, depending on which class pass they purchase, you might be losing $200 to $300 per month with people just not showing up to classes. So while you did get some cash flow when you sold the punch card, you're not selling it again quickly enough to compensate for the next month, or to compensate for them, not showing up to class for whatever reason. Now, even with expiration dates, which if your class passes don't have an expiration date, please start adding expiration dates to your class passes. But even with expiration dates, or with increasing your prices from your class packages, it's not going to be enough, because this business model is still based on the premise of you need a lot of people. You need a lot of people, and you need a lot of people to come to your classes consistently so that their card gets punched. Otherwise, you're not getting cash. So this is a very unhealthy business model, and I do not recommend it. One of the main reasons that fitness instructors stop, like the instructors that I've heard and I've talked to who have stopped teaching classes because they're not making money, I would say 90% of them is quite an inaccurate one. 90% of them have class passes or punch cards. The instructors who are still swimming, who are still rocking and rolling, maybe they're just barely surviving, but they made the cut and they're still, they're still in the game. Most of them have a membership model. So let's talk about the membership. So reverse math for membership. Let's say that you have a $50 membership. This is a monthly membership, all inclusive, you get everything online, in person, like all the things. They get all the things. That way you keep it simple for yourself. And that's your thing. And if you have a membership and it's not at $50, I highly recommend that you start working the value of your product to make it worth $50 so that eventually all of that's your main membership, because it's going to but when you have a membership that's less than $50, we sort of fall back into punch card mode. It's a little better because it's more consistent and you can make predictions and data and all those things, but you still need lots of volume, right? We're trying to solve, what's the perfect balance between your prices, your time, and the number of people that need to come to class, because the number of people that need to come to class depend on your skills as a marketer, and you ain't got all skills because our skills is in the dance floor, right? We're fitness instructors. So memberships. If you have a $50 membership, then you need 10 instructors to ROCK500. So that means you're teaching the same amount of classes as punch cards. So that doesn't really change, but you need less people to pay your expenses. You need less people to pay some bills or pay all the bills, right? You need less people. So that takes away some pressure of your marketing. You do have to do marketing. We'll talk about that. But you don't have to be a whiz at it, right? You don't need 20 people in the room. You don't need to stress out, and you don't need to stress out if they don't come. Because with memberships, another great benefit of memberships is that you get paid at the beginning of the month, right? Boom, they pay you. And then it's the responsibility of the student to show up to class to get the value that they paid for, right? And by the way, memberships, I know a lot of instructors are like, I don't want to. Memberships are normal. Netflix is a membership. Hulu is a membership. Amazon is a membership. People are used to memberships. This is something that is normal for them. It's just not normal for you for some reason, because you're in you're charging for a membership and that feels weird. But people are very used to memberships. So when they pay you for their membership, it's the responsibility of them to show up to get the value that they purchased. So that means that if you have a 10 core crew of members for sustaining your business, and 5 of them get sick, go on vacation, they don't come to class because it's too cold, it's too hot, and you only have 5 people in the room, you still made $500 that month. So you're still a happy camper. Right? Even if your class isn't packed, you still made $500. So you're still a happy camper. That keeps you in business. That keeps you happy. So memberships is something that I highly recommend. If you're in your punch card situation, I highly recommend that you move over to, you consider the membership a membership model. Overall, memberships are just going to be a healthier business model. Now, I want to show you another model that can complement any of these. So you can do the magic one. It has a name, but you can do the magic one in addition to your class passes, gym, or memberships, or you can do it instead of, right? Totally up to you. And that is to run a boot camp. Instead of being paid by the hour, or instead of being paid by the punch card, instead of being paid by the membership, get paid by the results that you're supplying your audience, by the results that you're providing your students. This model is way more profitable. This is how you add a zero to everything, okay? This is like, forget raising your prices from like $5 drop-in to $6 drop-in, or from a $10 drop-in to a $12 drop-in. Forget raising your prices $1 or $2. You want to raise your prices by adding a zero, right? If you have a $5 drop-in, raising your prices to 50. If you have a $10 drop-in, raising your prices to 100. If you have $100 something, raising it to 1,000. Like, this is how you add a zero to that, and you add a zero to your income, is by running boot camps. Learning this skill, right, will get you cash. I'll tell you more about what a boot camp is, but let me tell you first how the reverse math works for boot camp so you start to get it. Because it took me a while to get it. If you ran a boot camp, let's say that your boot camp is $100 to Rock 500, you just need 5 people, just 5. And let's say that 2 of those people got sick, went on vacation, it's too hot, it's too cold, whatever they purchased, and then they ghost you, whatever the deal is, you still get $500 and you're working with 3 people, right? So that is huge. Now, does this mean that you replace your classes? No, it means that you're adding a product to your suite. Right now, you're teaching classes, that's your only product. Maybe you're selling skincare like me, or, you know, shakes or nutrition, then that would be a second product. But when it comes to fitness, your classes are your only product. When you add the boot camp, now you have 2 products, and the boot camp is your premium product. So that doesn't mean that you get rid of this one. It just means that you're adding a product suite. You're going to price it and place it as your VIP. Is everyone going to take your boot camp? No, but you don't need everyone. You just need 5. You just need 5. Now let's take it a step further. Let's say you get really good at your boot camp and you provide awesome results and you're absolutely rocking it, and you price your boot camp at $250. Now you just need 2 students, 2 clients to rock $500 that month. That's totally doable. Okay, that is next level. That is what gets you to your first $1,000. That is what gets you to your next $10,000, right? Now, if that month you only enrolled 2 students from your bootcamp, that can pay for all of your expenses, right? So now you can dance, you can shimmy, you can lift, you can stretch, you can teach whatever your heart desires, and you'll be much less stressed and concerned with who's coming to class and the payments and your expenses and paying the bills, because these 2 clients are sustaining your business. Everything else you do after that, all the classes that you're teaching, right? Add more classes or bring more people or change your model. All of that now is profit, right? So this solves the cash problem. Is this sinking in? Now, Farah was struggling to get her virtual classes going. And she thought that she needed more people, more marketing, right? So she went through market. I just need to get, Facebook again, could have made at Facebook. And that's what she did. But ultimately she decided to try this boot camp model. And when she did, she raised her prices from $5 to $97. I'm gonna say zero basically to that. That's because her classes were not worth $97. She created a boot camp. And in 1 month, she was able to enroll 3 people to her boot camp. That's $300 for her that month. If she would have stayed with the virtual classes, she decided to do this instead of the virtual classes, although the virtual classes are kind of part of her program. But if she decided to make $300 with her virtual classes, she would have needed 60 people to pay for that drop-in, 60 drop-ins to make $300 instead of just 3, right? That's next level. That's, by the way, she has 5 kids. She was able to figure out this whole boot camp, how to sell it and who to sell it to with 5 kids. You can do it too. Now, next level to that is Catherine, right? Catherine wanted to teach less. She was doing a whole bunch of virtual classes. She used to own a brick and mortar studio. And then when COVID happened, she's like, oh my God, online is awesome. I want to do an online studio. She's an online studio, but she teaches all of her classes. So she's like, okay, it's working, but I need to teach less. What can I do to teach less? And obviously I'm like, boot camps. Let's add some VIP workshops to your suite, right? Because she teaches a whole bunch of formats. I think she teaches like 8, 10 formats. I haven't really asked her. She teaches a bunch of formats. But all of those formats are still just one product, right? So when I sat down with her, I'm like, Catherine, all of these things, you're still just teaching one thing. You're still just selling one thing, a class. So when we introduced the whole bootcamp concept, she's getting really good at this bootcamp to the point where this was her last month, right? She made over $1,000. I can't say numbers in English. I don't know why, but she made over $1,000 with just a 4-week workshop. That's the power of having a premium product. Like, what? Right? So if you want to rock 500 or go even bigger, you first have to consider selling something that's going to get you that cash quick, right? Boot camps are a way to inject your business with cash, which is one of the main reasons business fail. Now, to avoid failing with cash, you do need to have one expensive product, right? At least one. You can pay all your attention to that one, or you can use it to complement your classes, but you need to have one product that can pay for your entire rent with just 1 or 2 students. That's how you sustain your business more sustainably. How you sustain your business more sustainably. Okay. Now you can have teaching. You can have fun teaching because everything is gravy after that. Yes. So what is a boot camp? Boot camps are a unique short-term program, typically between 2 or 8 weeks. It's meant for a specific group of people. So this is only for moms or dads or seniors over 60 or ladies in their 40s or ladies going through menopause. Like, it has to be a very specific group of people, and it needs to deliver a very specific result. Maybe it's to lose weight or to lose inches or to prevent injury or to get stronger or to lower your blood pressure or to take less meds, or there's so many different results. And but that's the point, right? We have to discover what it is that your people want. Why is it that they're actually joining a gym? What's behind that? What's the result that they're looking for? And then just focus on that, right? Now, focus on the destination, not on the plane, is how I like to say it, right? Your students, they need a result. And in order to get that result, they're taking your fitness classes. The fitness classes are just a plane. They're just a plane to get those results, right? They're willing to go to a gym, get a membership, go to your studio, go to your class, turn on your virtual and sweat and do the things so that they can obtain that result. Boot camps are the same thing, but they're a jet. Instead of like flying and okay, they are hyper specific on that result to get them to that result, to that destination quicker. And because it's so specific and time-based and result-driven and unique, nobody else, every time I work with an instructor, everybody is creating their own unique bootcamp. You can charge more for it, right? In fact, your students and your clients are expecting to pay more for it because it is so highly specific. The same way that when you go to the doctor, you expect to pay more for a specialist than for a general doctor, right? It's in your expectations. So when you have a boot camp, people are just naturally more inclined to pay more for that than for a monthly membership, right? So that means you need to get on this wagon of creating something that's worth a lot more, that's going to get your students results quicker, right? So how can you serve them? How can you help them get there quicker? Now, you can run the boot camps online or you can run them in person. However, when you do run them online, there's the added benefit that you record your whole boot camp once and then you don't have to teach it again, right? So it doesn't even require you teaching every week. It just requires you to sell the hell out of it, right? Whether you sell a few of them to just get the bills paid or you sell more of them to like nail your $1,000 or 10K, that's awesome. But really, you're not teaching more classes. It's not physical. Is that making sense? So now let's move on to secret number 2. Secret number 1 is to have one premium product that gets cash and complements or replaces your fitness classes. Boot camps, they get the job done. Secret number 2 is now that we need to get new students. And just like getting cash, this is a learnable skill. This skill is called marketing. And this skill is very, very learnable. However, group fitness instructors, we like to call it spreading the word. Spreading the word is just another word for another way of saying marketing. So spreading the word. The problem with group fitness instructors spreading the word is that it's often an afterthought, right? We don't acquire these skills. We know nothing about them. We take them for granted. And when people don't magically show up to our thing, we wonder why aren't they showing up? And then we're not making cash. And then our business is slowly dying, right? So it creates a spiral effect. So this is what, So this is what marketing looks like, or spreading the word looks like for a lot of instructors. Now, keep in mind that the job of marketing is not to close a sale for you. The job of marketing is not for people to buy from you, okay? The job of spreading the word is for people to know about you, They don't know you, right? Remember, you're Wonder Woman inside a cave. They don't know that you're Wonder Woman. So you first have to get out of the cave and let people see you. Okay. That is what marketing does. And you need to have eyeballs on you. Marketing is getting their attention. And once they see you, they're like, oh, you're so cool. You're Wonder Woman. Then you close the sale. Then you invite them to your class. Then you do the thing. But marketing is just getting attention. Now, this is what I call the dead zone. I've been working with thousands of instructors and through via my Facebook group, The Stage. So I know a lot of you are part of The Stage, yay. And I can confidently say most group fitness instructors are in the dead zone, right? So let's figure out if you're in the dead zone and what you can do to get out of the dead zone. So the dead zone is when you're doing no marketing. And that means that you're just teaching your class, awesome, and you feel that is enough to bring people in. You're either doing no word of mouth or you're relying on word of mouth, and you're hoping that, you're relying on your students to spread the word about your classes and bring a friend. However, that used to work back in the day. So a lot of the instructors that I talk to who've been doing this for 20, 30 years, they say like, yeah, that's all it took. Yeah, before that's all it took. Well, it ain't before, right? Times change and that's no longer enough. So if you are not doing any marketing, if you're doing no marketing, then do any marketing, anything at all that it's within your control that you're spreading the word out, right? So there's a lot of things that you can do offline. So you can print business cards and flyers and posters. You can sub classes, take classes, go to events, right? You can literally bring a friend. So anything that requires you to be proactive about bringing people to your class or proactive about telling people about your class. Same thing goes for online, right? You can post on Instagram, on Facebook, you can run ads, you can do email, you can have a website, like you can do a blog, you can do a podcast. Like there's so many ways to spread the word, but these are things that you have to do consciously, right? And meaningfully and be proactive about it. So if you're not doing any marketing at all, you're doing no marketing, start doing anything. Don't obsess about the details, which platform, what to post, what time to post. Don't obsess about the details. Just get into the habit of doing something consistently. Now, for those of you who are doing something and are doing marketing, sometimes that falls into bad marketing. And bad marketing means that you're doing the thing. So yay, you're putting yourself out there, you're spreading the word, but it's not working, right? And you're spreading the word offline or you're spreading the word online, you're posting and you feel like you're being very productive, but it's not doing anything, right? So you're not getting any views and you're not getting any responses, both online or offline. Offline, you're telling people and they just nod their head and they don't show up. Online, you post and it's like ghost town, right? So you're doing things, but it's not doing anything for you. So hashtag small win, you're doing some marketing, yay, but it's bad marketing. So we need to get you doing good marketing. So this is the spreading the word zone. Some group fitness instructors are doing okay marketing, yay, but they still encounter some difficulties. So that means that when they're doing their marketing activities, they are getting views, hashtag small win, yay, but they get the same views. It's the same people over and over and over. So they're not getting new views. So there's a bump right there. Or they're getting engagement. So it's not bad marketing, right? They're communicating with their audience, or the people are actually taking the flyers or saying yes, and like, yes, engagement. But they're not showing interest in the class, right? So it's like, okay, they're talking, they're commenting, but they're not actually asking about their classes. Or they're asking about the classes. They're like, when was your class? Online or offline, they're getting that interest peaked. So it's like, yay, small win, but they're not actually showing up to class, right? They're not enrolling. Or you're getting the views, you're getting the engagement, you're getting the interest, and you're getting the enrollments, but it's not enough to sustain your business, right? So you need just more of it. So if you're doing punch cards, you need this system to work like a charm, because you need to sell a lot of punch cards to pay those bills or to pay all of the bills. If you do memberships or boot camps, then you don't need to be a whiz at it. You just got to follow a plan that works and then work it. And even if you do okay marketing, you'll still nail some sales because you're talking to the right people about the right things. And you have a business model behind that will support that. That even if you just get 2 sales at a $250 price point, it matters. Or even if you get 10 sales at a $50 price point, it matters, right? It makes a difference and it keeps your business going. That's how Reagan did it. So she is one out of 3 partners. She owns a studio with 3 partners, and she was struggling to make money teaching classes. And they taught they taught 3 different formats. And between all 3 of them teaching all their formats, they were still struggling to keep that studio alive. So she decided to do the boot camps and launch her boot camps, follow the marketing plan that I told her to do. So she's not like figuring this out on her own. I just told her, do this. She did it. Right? She made a post and bam, like 1 post paid for the student, for the rent, not for her, her classes, for the rent of her month, for the rent for the entire studio, her boot camp, right? That's the power of combining a premium product with good marketing, with spreading the word, right? That's what you did. All she did was follow a plan. She didn't do anything fancy. Now, for those who I help build their boot camps, and I'll tell you more about, how I help them and all of that. With boot camps, you don't need a lot of marketing. So I teach my clients to promote their boot camp just once a month, because we don't need this every week, right? Promote once a month, and I teach them exactly what to say, when to say it, how to say it. So all they have to do is get it done, and then rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. Then just get good at it, right? You don't have to be expert at marketing. You don't have to be an expert at all of these things. You just need to know what the right things are and practice those, nail those down, and then get good at them. Same way than teaching your classes. Now, when I tell group fitness instructors about boot camps, they usually feel overwhelmed or underqualified, right? And they're like, oh, but I can't do that. I just teach a Zumba instructor, or I can't charge that. Who would pay that for me? Or I don't have a personal training, certification, or I don't have a license. I can't help people lose weight, or I don't have this, or I don't have that. And there's so many questions. And I get it. It's scary. It's an outside the box concept, right? But it works. It works like a charm. Now, maybe you're already struggling to get people to pay you $50 for your membership or your class pass. So asking them to pay $100 or $200 or $300 can seem very daunting. And I understand that. I was there. But the thing is that right now you're being hired to use your fitness skills in class. Once you learn how to teach a Zumba class, or walk with class or cycle class, you're using your body to teach. And that's awesome. We love that. That's why we do it, right? But after 10, 20, 30 years, you're overusing your body. However, you're accumulating all of this fitness knowledge, right? That's fitness knowledge, not fitness skills with your body, but fitness knowledge that no one is benefiting from. No one, right? Boot camps are a way for you to capitalize on the accumulated knowledge that you've acquired after teaching all of these fitness classes. You use your body once to deliver the program, and then use your accumulated knowledge to deliver help for each client to achieve their goal. Now, your clients are not paying for a class, right? I want you to understand that they're not paying for a class. They're paying for a short-term result. They are paying to work with an expert that has years of experience that can provide exceptional insight into helping them achieve their specific goal and helping them reach it faster. All of that lives inside your head. I've spoken to thousands of you in message, right? You are incredible. You are Wonder Woman, right? And you have all of that stuck in your head. I believe you are worth way more than what you're charging right now. You just need to package it in a way that's going to reflect your knowledge. And the way to do that is with boot camps, okay? So I get the nerves, I get the self-doubt, I get the anxiousness, which is why secret number 3 is to just go for it, right? Just how do you get cash? You do run a boot camp and you make it an expensive boot camp, right? How do you get clients? You spread the word, you follow this marketing plan, do what else somebody said, hashtag do what Jessica says. You just do what I say, you put it out there. And when should you do this? Now. Like when do you want to make $500? 2 months from now? 12 months from now, right? We want to do this now, so we need to go for it, right? Also, we want to start small. So when you go for it, social media makes you believe that you need all these things and it needs to be fantastic and fabulous. You don't. What you do need to do is you need to start. If you don't start today, you won't be better tomorrow, okay? Businesses are done by taking action, not by thinking about taking action, not by learning things, right? You're not going to make $500 by learning everything that you did today, right? By learning this webinar. You're going to earn $500 by creating your bootcamp and then launching it. That's doing the things, okay? But you don't need to razzle dazzle anybody. You don't need, all these fancy things. In fact, let's talk about some of the things that you don't need. You don't need more licenses and certifications. You don't need to teach more formats. You don't need to have millions of followers. Okay. When you're running boot camps and when you work with me running your boot camps, I work with the license and certifications that you already have. I work with the formats that you're already teaching. Okay. We're going to work with what we have, and we're going to work with the audience that you already have. You don't need a bigger audience. Your $500 is already waiting. It's hiding inside your audience. You just haven't told them, right, where to spend it. So we're going to do what you're using. We're going to use what you're using right now, and email and Zoom and Facebook, which are things that you know how to use, and make something valuable with that. Also, to run boot camps, you don't need more apps. You don't need a fancy website or a graphic designer or a logo. I don't know why people think they need logos or professional pictures or videos, right? Because your people are not buying any of that. They are buying you. They are buying the result and the understanding that only you can bring them. In fact, they'll pay premium for that. So in this economy, just to give you some perspective, right? Starbucks revenue is up 8% this year. With this economy, with the gas prices at the one, they are up 8%. That's $8 billion in revenue. Okay. The fitness industry is expected to grow at 33% per year for the next 5 years with this economy. So people are spending. Yes, they are spending. They're just not spending on you because you haven't given them a reason to, right? You haven't given them a reason to go VIP with you. So we don't have to get fancy. We just have to make it work. You just have to go for it. Now, once you go for it and we start small and we build small, then just like progressions, we build from that, right? Every time you run your boot camp, we're going to add layers to that and add layers to that, or you get better at marketing. So then the boot camp stays the same, but you get better at spreading the word. So then you sell more of these boot camps. That's how they did it, right? They started small. So when they first ran that boot camps, like this is what happened with them in the first 60 days of working with me, right? They started earning money, right? These instructors started small. Since then, they've earned now over $1,000 like per month type thing, right? They've got this system down, and they acquired the skills once, right? Of how to build this thing, how to put it out into the market, how to launch it. But once they build it, guess what? Rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. It costs money to understand how to build it and to build in time to build it. But once you have, you can rinse and repeat this a whole bunch of time. So this is what we learned so far. The fitness industry is growing, right, at 33%, yet 90% of businesses fail because there's no cash and there's no students. To avoid that, we learned the 3 secrets to rock $500, which is to have one premium product, boot camps, to spread the word. By the way, you don't need, I forgot to mention that with my clients, you don't need thousands of followers. You don't need to be everywhere in every platform. We just work on one platform, Facebook. That's all you need. Okay, that's all you need. And you need to go for it. Really, that's it. So let me ask you a question. Do you feel a little bit like this? Yeah. I know I might have gotten a little overboard with all the things. My goal is not to overwhelm you. It's to show you that it's possible. It's possible when you have the right plan, the right practice, and you don't do it alone. Which is why I'm very excited about this next part, because I have been wanting to put this out into the world for so long, because I want you to be the next success story. I want to put your face in my webinar next time I run this and say, she rocked $500 by doing this. So if it's okay with you, if it's okay with you, can I show you how I helped instructors do this? Just shake your head to let me know. Yeah, cool. Oh, about ads. So many group fitness instructors have asked me about ads and whether they work or they don't, because if ads helps with the whole, getting new students problem, which helps with the getting more cash problem. So I tried them and they work. They totally work. They are awesome. However, they are expensive. do you want to go behind the scenes and see how much I paid for ads last year? So when I say I've tried them, believe me, okay? So this is what I spent on ads last year. I gave Facebook almost like $2,500 on ads, okay? I ran different things, I figured out different stuff. And one of the things I figured out is, number one, I don't know how to run ads. Ads are a completely different monster. And I had to get somebody to do my ads for me, because when I did them, they got no results. And then when she did them, she got results. So you do need, this doesn't count the fee for the expert. This is just what I paid Facebook to run my ads. And by the way, I don't run ads for my programs. I run ads for the free challenge, the Pack Your Class challenge. That's what I paid for. So I'm paying for attention. I'm paying ads for you to do a free thing. So if you see my ad on Instagram or on Facebook, I'm going to run the challenge again. Please like it, drop a heart. It was very expensive for you to see, to see that ad. So for me to upgrade my business right now, I was like, okay, I never want to recommend something that I haven't tried. So I was like, I'm going to try ads. So for me to upgrade my business, I paid Facebook $2,500. And then I paid the expert to do my ads correctly because I was failing at them. That was another chunk of money. And then I paid the VA because I hate running ads. Okay. It's not a button that you turn on and off. No, that's false advertising. It's not a button that you just turn on. It's very techie. Like I don't even like talking about it techie. So I have somebody run my ads whenever I do, and pay attention to the ads whenever I do run my ads. So I spent almost $4,000 last year running ads. Do they work? Yes. Can you afford it? That's the thing, right? So go for it if you want to try it. Today, I'm going to show you how I helped these instructors get to those numbers, rock their classes, rock $1,000 without spending $4,000. So I'm going to show you how to do a fraction of this. And that is, I'm so excited, by launching the ROCK500 program. So this is a 60-day quick start program to make $500. So the whole goal of this program is for you to make $500, right? This is not a free program. When you enroll, we're going to create your very first boot camp. If you already have a boot camp, we can look at that and enhance that so that you feel totally prepared for that. Even if you, how to create your very first boot camp, even if you totally feel unprepared for it. We're gonna cover your boot camp. I'm also going to tell you exactly how to launch your boot camp. Get this, without any post. Even though I'm the Facebook person, we're not gonna post on Facebook. So if you're like, I don't like being salesy, I'm going to show you how to sell this boot camp and how to rock $500 behind the scenes without being Facebook. So forget about marketing or no marketing or bad marketing. We're going to do behind the scenes. Like, we're not even going to post. So I'm going to show you how to do that. And the business plan, and you're also going to get the business plan to make $500 month after month, right? So we're going to cover all of the rounds. What this means is that what you get to build a thing, you get the what to build, who to invite, and what to say. So you're going to have very easy to follow modules that you can get done, even if you have a full-time job, you teach several classes, or you have 5 kids. And I say this because the clients who actually that you saw that you saw all these results, they have full-time jobs, they teach several classes, and they have 5 kids, and they got it done, right? Now, I do want to emphasize that this is not free. I do a lot of free things, a lot. You can go to the stage, weekly content there, the free Pack Your Class challenge. I pay to get that out there and to let more instructors benefit from that. But what I found is that what the instructors that do it for free don't get the results from the instructors that are actually paying and spending time investing in their business. Okay, it is not the same. Everyone that you saw, that you heard from this story, from this webinar, they didn't get to those results with a free tip or a hack or a free challenge. All of them invested in themselves, okay, in their capacity. And they did that by showing up. They did that by demonstrating with their wallet and with their time and with their passion and with their commitment, and they got the stuff done. And we were together week after week, and we cried and we hugged and we were joined around, and they got their wins, okay? So You get the easy to follow modules that they did. You also get the who to invite. So a lot of people, a lot of times it's like, okay, I have a bootcamp, but I have no idea who to offer this bootcamp to. No problem. We're going to have a no-brainer list that gets you started talking to the right people. I'm also going to tell you what to say. So this is, as an introvert, I hated this part. It's like, okay, talk to people. Ugh. But what do I tell them? What do I say? So I'm going to give you a fill in the blank script guiding you exactly what to say so that you get your bootcamp out there, you get it talking when this requires no posting. You're also going to get weekly group calls and text check-in to keep you progressing week after week. You're going to have access to a private chat so that you can ask good questions, and you get 3 private Zoom calls. So as I mentioned, the instructors, they started small, right? And they started with 200 here, 300 there. But as they got better at their boot camps with repetition, they're earning in the Karen here's $4,000. Catherine, and this is not updated data. They have been earning way more, $2,000 a month, $2,000 a month, $1,100 a month. You know, they are in the $1,000. They started. We have a chat, and they started telling me their wins and all of these like 1,000 big numbers for a month. And I was like, we need to create a $1,000 club. This is the 1K club. So they are part of the 1K club. They started small. They started with boot camps, and they just got better. And they did it by doing this plan. So like I mentioned, ads for me were almost $4,000. So if you just want to purchase ads, get somebody else to do it, run those. If you can afford that, it's very hands-off. Go for it, right? But if you don't have $4,000 to invest in ads, this program is valued at $997. This is what it's going to be valued later, not today, because to be honest, this is the first time that I'm launching it. The instructors that you saw are part of my membership program, which means I've been working with them for 6 to 12 months. But the first 60 months is when they had their very first wins of nailing those $200, $300, $500 months. So I'm now using that awesome part of that program and launching it here so that more people need to make more money with this model, because it works so flawlessly. So because it's the first time that I'm launching it officially to the universe, it's not going to be $997. I'm going to give you a discount, and it's going to be $747. Yes. So if you want to do this anytime, let me know. I'll have the link in a second. There are some more bonuses attached to this. However, I value instructors, and I value those of you who are fast action takers, right? So if you're ready to start, if you don't want to wait to learn, if you don't want to wait to earn $500, if you're ready to get to the next level, then I want to give you a fast action discount, and I will bring it down to $499. But again, I value action if you enroll in the next 48 hours, right? So you know the whole saying, time is money. If you want to save yourself $250, make a fast decision, right? And for $499. Now, in addition to this, I believe in rewarding good behavior. So if you're invested in your business, if you show me that you're invested in yourself, I'm going to throw in some freebies. You like freebies? So this is not everything that you get. I'm going to throw in more freebies. So spreading the word requires you to have an audience. And obviously, I favor Facebook. So I want you to grow your Facebook audience, not with just whatever people, but with the right people. So I'm going to throw in the 250 new followers blueprint. This is the blueprint that my clients that you've heard followed. So how did they go from 500 to 1,000 to 4,000? Growing their audience organically without ads, right? They did it by following that plan. So you get it included so that you can also scale up your businesses. You'll also get the Facebook profile review. So when you're spreading the word online, they are going to land on your profile. So it's very important that what you have in your profile makes you feel they feel seen, it feels authentic and genuine. And that's a careful balance between what you do and who you are and what you do. So when you enroll, you're going to get a full Facebook profile so that we make sure that you nail that first impression with your growing audience. Plus, you also get a notebook because you'll be taking lots of notes. If you took notes during this This webinar, this was just the tip of my iceberg. So like, yeah, I can see Annette just like next page. Yes. So you'll get the official stage, make it happen notebook with if you to make a fast decision. So this is everything that you get. The what to build, who to invite, the how to invite them, the what to say, just fill in the blanks, weekly Zoom calls, weekly texts, VIP chat, 3 private calls in case any of that, in case all that wasn't enough time with me, you're gonna be sick of me. The 250 new followers blueprint, the Facebook review, and the notebook, right? All for $4.99. We can do 1 payment or we can do 2 payments. We're like, I don't know if I can afford it. You can also split it up into 2 payments. There's no fee for having those 2 payments. However, there is only 10 spots available. So as you saw with the instructors, and as you can see from here, we have weekly check-ins and daily check-in. I work very closely with my instructors, so I can't take a lot of instructors at the same time, right? I have another program, the marketing program. I can take as many that's okay. But this one is very, very high touch. So I can only take 10 instructors at a time. Now, here's the thing. This is something that I've never done before. Because I believe in this model so much, I actually don't want you to spend $299. I want you to spend $0. So what I'm going to do is that we're going to work together until you reach $500, until you rock 500. This is a 60-day plan. If it takes you more, because in 60 days you weren't able to, you made $200, I'm going to work with you until you reach that $500 goal, so that your investment, you make back that investment. It costs you nothing, but you now have the skills to reproduce this month after month and to enhance it month after month, right? This concept really didn't hit home to me of like the whole investing in your company and learning the skills until I wanted to earn my first 10K a month. So in the circles that I hang around with online, it's very common for fitness instructors to hit 10K months. I was blown away with it. I'm like, how? What? It's a lot of personal trainers. So I was like, I want to learn how to get to 10K. I knew that was possible. I didn't know how. I started researching programs to get me to that level, found a program that I love. Guess how much that program was? $10,000. So it would cost me $10,000 to learn how to earn $10,000. In a way, there's a nice balance and it kind of seemed fair, but oh my God, $10,000. But I didn't know how to make that. I didn't have that skill, right? So I took out the credit card. I made payments per month. And I did the $10,000 program. And you know what? I did make $10,000 a month. I did rock a $10,000 month. And that has been the only month that I actually purchased something for myself. Because anytime I make money with the stage, the money goes reinvested into the stage and ads and things like that, or into college fund, which you saw my kids, And for this time, I was like, oh, hell no, like that was a lot of work. I'm buying myself something nice, a little above sushi. So I bought myself these really expensive, totally uncomfortable shoes that I actually don't wear. I have them in my office right here. They're a trophy to let me know that it's possible, right? So I am here to tell you that if you want to rock $500, you can. If you want to rock $1,000, you can. If you want to rock $10,000, you can. This is how, right? So that's all for today. Do you have any questions? Now you can just unmute or use a chat. Now I have eyes, so I can use a chat. I see people typing, so I don't know if you're like typing. Magda, do you have a question? You're unmuted. Okay, looks like no questions. Do you have a question?
Oh, that was a lot to learn. I just wanted to thank you. Like,
It's a lot to learn, and I left so much out. I was like, this is going to explode their brains. Okay, so thank you everybody for joining.
Thank you.
If this was helpful, send me a message. This is technically the second time that I've run this webinar, so I'm very excited to launch this into the world. I'm very excited to help more instructors earn money. And just like we saw the instructors from today, I want to help more, right? Because these instructors, they have now been spending more time with their family because they're not so stressed out with money. They feel validated as themselves. They are a whole new level of Wonder Woman. They are rocking their business, and I want to help you do that too. You don't need fancy things. You really just need to go for it. So let me know if you have any questions, and I'm here to help you. So I'll see you at the stage. If anything, whatever you decide is okay with me, this is your business and you decide what to do with it. But in any case, I'll see you every week, Wednesdays, 1 p.m. at the stage for all the free tips on all things regarding Facebook and how to grow your classes using Facebook. See you on the next one.